Hey, everybody, welcome back to United Facts of America. I guess it's like United Facts of America After Dark. I'm Aaron Sharrock, I'm the executive director of PolitiFact, and we're working late tonight because there's a debate down in Miami. The five candidates on stage will debate starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. I imagine many of you are going to tune into that. But before you do, we thought it would be a great time to get together as our closing act of United Facts of America to talk a little bit about how we cover debates, what we're looking forward to tonight, and how we do our jobs. Sometimes going behind the scenes, under the hood in the fact-checking process. So I have with me today 6 of my fact-checking colleagues stationed in different parts of the country. Fact checkers Amy Sherman and Samantha Putterman are live at the debate site in Miami. Katie Sanders, editor-in-chief, Josie Hollingsworth, audience director, and fact checker Larbin Takero are here in St. Petersburg, where I am. And then coming in from Washington, D.C. is Maria Ramirez Uribe. Thank you all for joining me. I know this is not the thing you want to do necessarily in the half hour or so before a debate. You want to be doing your prep work and your preparations, but I appreciate you making the time. Let's start in Miami. Sam, what's the mood like? What's the scene like? Give us a little view of your world as you're getting ready to cover the debate live from not the debate hall, but kind of hopefully close to it.
Yeah, no, we are definitely close. We are just down the road at the Press Filing Center. It's starting to get more filled up with different journalists from, different organizations. And we're all just really gearing up to see how everything goes. The mood is pretty quiet right now, but I think it's going to start, getting a little bit more exciting as we get closer to debate time.
Well, and Amy, let me turn to you while I have you from Miami. What are the benefits, pros, cons to being a fact checker at the debate site on debate night? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What can you get? What do you lose by being on the road?
I think being at the site, you hear other reporters kind of call out stuff. Some might call out if they think something's false. You get a sense of what people find, really interesting, really funny. So it just gives you a little bit more of the action and local flavor being here. But it also can be a distraction.
Well, I hope your Wi-Fi works for the 2 hours of the debate and the hours of fact checking that will follow. Katie, let's go to you as kind of the boss of this crew here tonight. What are the objectives of PolitiFact on a debate night? What are you trying to do? What are the marching orders and how you're getting prepared now for a debate that's 57 minutes away?
It's not like I'm on Zoom half the day every day. All right. Hello, everyone. So on a debate night, we are doing so much. There's like 3 times the amount of people who are on this call right now who are working on our debate plan. So we all have different jobs, and the chief objective is to deliver the most comprehensive analysis of the most important checkable claims that come up as quickly as possible. So we have a squad of people who are responding as close to in the moment to claims as they're being made as possible. And so you'll see those kind of comments on our social media platforms. Josie can talk more about that. But we have reporters like Sam and Amy, plus 5 or 6 more people who are going to be working on longer bits of analysis, not very long, but we're trying to give like fuller context, links to our previous reporting, again, as close to in the moment as possible, at least a half hour at the most from when they said it. But then after the debate, we will reset and kind of think about, of all the stuff we heard, what was the most important, what was the most contentious, and we'll try to focus on the bigger picture. What are people going to be waking up and wondering about? They don't need to know the most obscure claims we check. They need to know the most important ones. So we're trying to think bigger picture too about what is the key takeaway from the debate from a fact checker perspective.
And so, Katie, let me, Donald Trump will not be there. He is kind of the guy that fact checkers have fact checked more than anyone. How does that affect what you do or don't do? He's giving a speech, I think, down the road at his summer home or full-time home in Mar-a-Lago. Is that right? So how are you handling all that?
We've kind of taken a different approach in the previous debates. We had a reporter watch his debate concurrently last time, or the first time, and we didn't really do too much with it. We may have done some follow-ups after the fact. For the second debate, we had another staffer watch it, but we didn't do much with it. It's hard to juggle that many things. And essentially it's counter programming. So we don't want to not listen to it at all, but we're here to cover something that is on national primetime news channels. And so we're really dedicating our resources to covering this event. We will pay attention to what Trump says, but we're not going to be doing live analysis. We can only do so much. And we're going to follow where the news goes. Trump having a rally isn't always news.
Amy Sherman with the first fact check of the night saying, I was wrong. It's not Mar-a-Lago. He'll be speaking in Hialeah, which is down the road. So I get a half true on that, I think. Maria, let me bring you in. What are you listening for tonight? And I want to ask this question to you as well. I've been around PolitiFact long enough that when people talk about how long it takes to do a fact check, they say 1 or 2 days. We don't have 1 or 2 days today. So how does that work? How do you make a fact check happen in 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour?
Yeah, so I think something that's interesting with us and our work as fact checkers is we're not just listening for the most important sort of statements or the craziest statements people make, but we're really looking for things that we can fact check and that are either wrong or that need, additional context from the audience that is listening to this. And so our ears are sort of wired differently, or we wire them differently when we're listening to candidates speak at debates. And so we're listening for numbers that they might be making. We're listening for claims about other candidates' voting records. We're listening for pretty much anything that we can fact check, and especially things that are going to be particularly misleading that the audience might not know 100% what the truth or how truthful that statement is. And then how we prepare for this, tonight is not the first night we're covering these candidates. Thankfully, we have been covering them for months and some for years. And so while it might take us 1 to 2 days to do a fact check that we've never looked at before, the majority of the things the candidates are going to speak about tonight are things that they've been speaking about on the campaign trail. And so we're incredibly prepared. We have been writing fact checks and also sort of prep documents for weeks now. So yes, it might take 1 to 2 days on a normal fact check, but that's not going to be the case tonight.
Got it. If you're just joining us, welcome to United Facts of America. I'm Aaron Schrockman. We're talking with 6 of my PolitiFact colleagues in the hour leading up to the third GOP presidential debate. We've whittled the field down. I think there was, I don't want to get fact checked, there was like 9 candidates on the stage in the first one. We're now down to 5. The next debate will be in December with higher thresholds. So in theory, potentially the crowd will shrink even more. The GOP race, anyone who's been following it with any look at the news has seen that it is Donald Trump and a group of other people trying to be second. Most recent polling suggests right now that second spot is a toss-up or between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. I'm curious for the crowd, and I'll let this go to anyone. So speak up. When you have a moment in a debate where candidates go after each other, and I assume tonight we will see probably Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley going after each other, that's something you're going to listen to probably more closely, right? Because of the facts that are spewing back and forth. I should.
Yeah, definitely. We look at, I think, especially in these situations where Nikki Haley versus Ron DeSantis, for example, a lot of the sort of attacks that we're going to hear are based on their past policy decisions and past sort of voting records. And so I think that's something we're always listening to, because that's something we can very easily go back to, track down, see exactly what happened in the moment, even if it was 5-10 years ago, and then be able to kind of provide our audience some context about what exactly did that candidate actually do and what's sort of missing and what the other candidate might have attacked them with.
Josie, I want to bring you in here. So one of the things we're going to be listening, we have 21 fact checkers working tonight, listening intently to 2 hours, but there's a lot more people who are going to be watching and listening as well. How does PolitiFact use a reader, viewer, voter suggestions into this process? And if anyone's watching this discussion now and is going to watch the debate later, how might they say, wait, I heard that and that was really strange. I'm really curious to know if that's true.
Definitely. I think, PolitiFact has always been committed to answering reader questions since we started in 2007. I think a lot of basis around how we decide what to fact check is whether an average person would wonder, is that true? And so I think debate nights are a big night for, folks who are watching the debate, just wondering, is that true? And I think Maria really outlined that well. It's not about predictions. Again, we can't fact check predictions, but we do wonder about what readers are curious about with the rhetoric they're hearing at the debate. And in particular, claims about facts and figures, comparisons, literal numbers are if you hear anything that, compares someone's record against another, about any topic area, especially policy area, you can feel free to reach out to PolitiFact. There are a couple ways you can do this. You can directly respond to us on a myriad of social platforms we'll be posting our fact checks to, between Threads, between X. We'll be posting a couple things to Facebook. But one of the best ways you can reach us is just emailing truthometer@politifact.com. That is the inbox that we really check to see reader suggestions. And again, we've always fact checked reader suggested claims. It's something that we do at least monthly, if not weekly. And so debate nights are huge for wondering what you, the voters, are wondering about when it comes to debate talk.
Yeah, it's nice in these debates a little bit to have a commercial breaks from time to time again, so we can all regroup. One of the things that is interesting is a group like this will come together on a Zoom like this, often to talk about what they've heard. And so adding your input as a reader into that mix would be useful and valuable. It's not the only special thing we do on a debate night. Of course, we have our debate pizza. That has been acquired. We're really excited about that. We also do some different things with technology, and I want to bring Laura in. Can you talk a little bit about some of the special things that are happening behind the scenes to help make all of this process work quickly, efficiently, and most importantly, accurately?
Yeah, so during debate night, after all the preparation that we have done before the debate, we all sit down and listen closely to what each candidate says. So my job is to verify quotes and make sure that we have the exact, accurate words that a candidate is saying. And this is one of the times that our newsroom actually uses AI to help make our work more efficient. So we use a tool that provides us a live transcript for while the debate is happening. And when we hear something that might be fact checkable, it's my job to kind of reread the transcript and rewatch the debate to make sure that we have the right quote. So I double check and triple check the words that are on the transcript, just so it matches the words that the candidate actually said. And this is not unique to the debate. At PolitiFact, we don't rely on transcripts alone. We also watch the videos and verify the actual quotes that the speaker that we're fact checking has said.
Great. If you're just joining us, welcome to the last segment of United Facts of America. We're previewing tonight's GOP debate in Miami. I'm Aaron Schrockman. I'm the executive director. I'm joined by 6 of my colleagues, 2 of who are based right now at the debate site in Miami, getting ready for that event. Amy, in the room, how many seats are there for media? Would you have a sense of, like, are we hundreds of people? Are we dozens? I know people are still filtering in, but just what's the vibe?
Yeah, I mean, there's several hundred seats. I would say major TV and newspaper outlets, I heard from another reporter that only a select number, maybe 24, are allowed directly into the spin room where the candidates may do gaggles with the press afterwards. We think it's possible that a candidate will wander over to the filing room afterwards, or at least some of their staffers will, to kind of make their pitch about, they'll claim they won the debates. Our job isn't to say if anyone won. We would be there to see if we can ask any questions that they didn't answer, whether it's a claim about immigration or economy. If they didn't explain themselves, we'd hope to get some more details.
And Sam, over to you. It's interesting because both you and Amy have had a focus on Florida at different points in your PolitiFact life, which means a focus right now on Ron DeSantis. Sam, if you are predicting, what are some of the claims that Ron DeSantis might talk about tonight? What are one or two that you're like, I'm fairly certain you're probably going to hear this, and then take us through the facts of it.
Yeah, so what I do expect him to talk a lot about his Florida record. So he makes those claims a lot. Us being in Florida, I expect more of that. I think maybe some of the claims that he might talk about besides his record is probably about his position on Israel and what he's done recently when it comes to refugees and trying to put together flights from Gaza or from Israel to get them back to Florida. Those are things that he has done. We have written a bit about it, but a lot of the things he's been saying lately have been things he said before. He talks about rooting out CRT in K through 12 schools. It's something part of his Florida record that we have fact checked. We have given that a mostly false CRT, which is called critical race theory. It's really predominantly taught in higher education and not in kindergarten, as he tries to make it seem. So we might see some of those claims, different things like that. But I do expect a lot on foreign policy with Nikki Haley and kind of pitting her, going back and forth with her about who is a stronger friend to Israel, who has had more connections to China in the past with their respective states. So that's what I expect to see most of.
Got it. Katie, when it comes to, we're now down to 5 candidates on the stage. Are reporters listening to one specific candidate? Are reporters working on a specific issue or area? How does that kind of you're the coach putting the players where they need to be? How does that happen?
Well, these players are really good at tracking candidates when they're not on the debate stage. So each one of these policy reporters, Maria, Amy, and Sam, have a reporter that they're tracking all the time. So they track their interviews, their stub speeches, rallies, what have you, social media. So we're just trying to track what talking points they're introducing as they introduce them, so we're that much more prepared when they repeat themselves. I think as a general rule, any reporter should be down to jump into anything, and they're pretty good sports about that, but they're very much listening for checkable claims that are important, but also they speak up when they hear something they've already investigated. So Sam and Amy will be like, we looked into the flights, we have an answer. We'll retool it so that it matches this context. They're really, really good at that. And the thing that we have, there's always that claim we didn't prepare for that takes everyone by surprise that everyone wants to talk about. And so we're not always in love with that spontaneity, because we would love the easiest road, which is let's do what we prepared. But these reporters are really experienced, and they can research things late and on the fly as well. So that's how we do it. They do kind of have somebody they're covering, but when we expect a lot of the attention to go between 2 candidates like Haley and DeSantis, Sam has been tracking those 2 pretty closely. She can't do it all. So these reporters are more than willing to jump in.
Awesome. For those who have been following along at United Facts of America, you will have seen a session yesterday, I believe, talking about the work PolitiFact is doing in Spanish. And I'm curious, on a debate night, how is PolitiFact reacting in Spanish? I'm not sure if Katie or Josie is the best person to answer this, but one of you pipe up. What we'll be doing in Spanish as a companion product to the work we're doing in English?
I can go first, and then Josie, you can go after if you want. So we are going to be doing some talkbacks, some TV interviews with our Spanish language partners, Telemundo 51, but tomorrow morning. So we would do it tonight, but they want to do it tomorrow morning. So that's one way to reach that audience. And we're also going to be doing a TikTok recap to reach a younger audience that will also be coming out tomorrow morning. So it's sort of a Spanish language abbreviated TikTok rundown of what the main findings from tonight. So that's just one way, but we're also monitoring the conversation in Spanish, seeing like if there were certain claims that really resonate on the social platforms that we monitor. So we're staying flexible.
Yeah, I think Katie, really covered how we'll be responding to this debate, but you never know if there's going to be some claim that really transcends various platforms that, we know there are a lot of Spanish speakers on, and maybe that will be, again, an indicator that we should, write a new fact check about a claim, or, translate a salient claim into a Spanish language fact check. There's a lot of interest in that among our partners, Telemundo especially.
And I was just thinking that it's worth pointing out that two of our reporters who specialize in Spanish reporting are actually working on a fact check of Democrats who were running a radio ad attacking Governor Ron DeSantis on Social Security and Medicare, which is a topic we've covered before, but not in a Spanish language radio ad that is running today from a liberal group. So we are working on that, and I'm excited for that story.
Awesome. Thanks for people who are tuning in, watching us on YouTube. This is United Facts of America, our final act of the UFA Season 3. I'm Aaron Shrocton. I'm the Executive Director, joined by 6 of my colleagues who are counting down the debate to the debate in Miami, now 39 minutes away. Josie, I have to shout you out. You're repping our new PolitiFact Election 2024 t-shirt. Just in, Josie,
Hot off the presses.
yeah. So for people who are supporting PolitiFact through the True Squad, you will have the opportunity to get that shirt. I assume next year. I guess we'll start in January distributing them. I don't know. Josie, do you have a plan?
Yeah, I do have a plan. I think I think there's a politifact.com/donate. Right now we're offering our beautiful Pants on Fire socks, which are very luxurious, but also we will be offering these election shirts as well. So yes, check it out, politifact.com/donate. You'll see there's different membership levels that get you different swag. And yeah, we really, very much appreciate our donor support. Obviously, donors have made all of United Facts of America possible this week, and make up a quarter of our revenue as a nonprofit newsroom, fact-checking politicians and holding them accountable to what they say. So I really do want to encourage everyone who's watching this feed, whether you're watching it live or watching it, post-debate, that politifact.com/donate is a place where you can support independent fact-checking, nonpartisan fact-checking.
Awesome. Thank you. Katie says she wants to ask me a question, which I guess I will allow. So, Katie, what is your question? I'm not saying I'll answer it, though.
Well, Aaron isn't just hanging out with us for fun. I think it's worth mentioning that Aaron is doing some pretty cool work in the heat of the debate moments. And so, Aaron, you are kind of the point person for the debate experience that we share with ABC News and 538. And I thought you should talk about your work, where people can find that work and what goes into it.
Sure. Well, I'll start off the top by saying what goes into it is all the hard work by my 6 colleagues here and the 14 others who are not on this call. I'll be live blogging with the ABC News team and 538, available on abcnews.com, coming up at the top of the hour. What I'm looking for is, so frankly, I joined PolitiFact in 2010. I've done my tour of debates. I think I have a knack to be quick and accurate, and so what I'm looking for are those factual statements made by the candidates that I can adjudicate on, if you will, in 30 to 45 seconds. And over the course of 2 hours, I'm hoping to do 8 to 10 of those. Again, a lot of it is built on all the hard work our team has already done, pre-writing dozens of potential fact checks. It's in part by good Googling and then taking material from our corpus on PolitiFact of 23,000 different fact checks. What I find really interesting, and I wrote this in kind of my preview for ABC News today, these 5 candidates on stage, we've written, I think this year, about 51 fact checks of them, which is a lot by anyone's standard, but by our standard, it's like not a huge
Way
number.
higher. It's higher now.
Well, I checked again. I checked
76.
the 5 on stage. I shrunk it to the 5 on stage. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, okay.
We'll settle down.
But what's interesting, so again, by any other fact checker standard, that's a lot. By us, I think we would say we wish we had done 200. And what PolitiFact does is we write a lot of material, not always gets that pants on fire, false, or half true rating, that is available, that is just as trustworthy, links to the sources, primary sources, no off the record sources, all that good stuff. So we draw on that for this type of work. And then the last thing, which I will say is, which also just is crazy to me, is, yeah, there'll be 5 candidates on the stage and we have a corpus of them of 51. But really, all of those 23,000 fact checks could come into play. Someone could start talking about wind turbines killing birds. It could happen. Probably won't, but could. People will start talking about what's happening in Israel and Gaza right now. And maybe it wasn't something that we fact checked Tim Scott or Nikki Haley on, but we probably may have well fact checked someone else on. And so like all that material just kind of is available for us to use, quickly pull and put into our work. You know, I talk about it as a very a clear, authentic, verified Wikipedia. So that's kind of how we do that. I'm excited about it. I'll be watching what all of you are doing and hoping to contribute on abcnews.com starting at 8. All right, we do have a reader question. I'm going to go to Ree with this one. Is there some way for you to check to see if a website has changed from a fact checker perspective? So can you see how a fact checking, any website has changed day by day?
So for tracking how a website has changed, I would say one of the tools we use is Wayback Machine. So that kind of provides copies of a website over the years if they're available. We also use it to archive claims that we fact check. So that's one of the tools. There are also social media monitoring tools, to see if the websites have changed over time.
Yeah, Wayback Machine is a good one. We also do something, and maybe Laura Ben, you could talk about this as well. How do we as fact checkers prevent somebody from changing material? So I'm not prevent, but like if we're fact checking a claim that's posted online, how do we capture that information so that it's always available?
I work on the misinformation team at PolitiFact, and when we kind of pitch a claim or when we're assigned a claim, one of the first things we do is to archive it or take a screenshot of it, or both. So we use archiving tools like Wayback Machine, archive.is, or even Ghost Archive, to kind of capture a claim as it's when it's posted, when we're fact checking it. So we can be sure to have a copy of it. We can be sure to have a copy of it, even if it gets deleted or if the poster changed the caption of a post. So that kind of captures the claim as we fact checked it at the time.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's 7:29. We have 31 minutes until showtime. So probably Katie's getting annoyed that we're still talking. And so we'll get ready to wrap it up just in a second. I'm Aaron Shirachman. You're watching United Facts of America, our final session as we wrap up the third year of this event. This year, we've been able to make it free for the first time, thanks to supporters like you. Very excited and happy about that. This recording and all the others are going to be available on YouTube, so you can watch these programs at your leisure. I want to end with this, and I'm going to go around the horn. I want you to be thinking about one of the games that PolitiFact is known to play. We don't do punditry at PolitiFact. We very happily avoid saying who's going to win, who's going to lose, why they're going to win, why they're going to lose. We let other people do that. But we do play a game where we try to figure out what people are going to say that we might be able to fact check. And so I want to hear from each of you if you have something on your mind that you think might come up tonight. All right, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about it. Then I'm going to start with Amy in 10 seconds. So you're watching United Facts of America, and I'm putting my 6 colleagues on the spot. Amy, what do you expect to hear tonight?
I think that one of the candidates is going to say something to the effect of even Biden's State Department admitted that aid to Gaza ends up going to Hamas.
Is that true?
It is something that comes from a 2021 document from the State Department, but that's only kind of a partial quote. The document also said they hadn't seen that happening in the past, and that they're taking several steps to try to get aid to civilians. So we won't fact check a prediction about where the aid is eventually going to end up, but we can look more closely at in full what that document said.
Very interesting. That will be interesting if it comes up, and then you all will be able to read more details on politifact.com in the hours after the debate. All right, I'm going to go to Washington. Maria, what's on your mind? What do you think folks are going to be talking about tonight?
As the person sort of most focused on immigration topics at PolitiFact, I'm going to say that one of the candidates will probably say something along the lines of the southern border is wide open. And that is not true. We fact checked that.
Historically not true. Many fact checks written about that.
Correct. We fact check that. I think almost every debate, the southern border is not open. There are, technology people on the ground, as well as laws and policies that prevent people from freely entering the United States.
Awesome. Sam, what are you thinking?
So when it comes to different claims, I do think that particularly Nikki Haley is going to hit DeSantis on fracking. I think she's done it before. She released a recent ad saying that DeSantis wants to ban fracking. We actually did a fact check on that. And he does want to ban fracking in Florida. He also has to do with voters had voted on fracking being banned in Florida specifically, but he has also made comments about fracking being allowed elsewhere. So it is not completely true. There's some truth to it, but I expect to hear it tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. And in Sam's background, that is Alex Leary. He has some PolitiFact bylines in the background, now covers the White House for the Wall Street Journal. Our good
He has no idea. He's on YouTube right now.
Totally okay. He's live and for millions. Ree, what do you think? What do you got? What are you thinking?
The first thing that came to mind was a talking point that DeSantis has made like frequently when I've been listening to these debates. He always says that Florida's crime rate is at a 50-year low, and like there are some caveats to that data that you can read at PolitiFact. But yeah, that was the first one that came to mind.
I wouldn't bet against that one either. That's a good one. Josie, what are you listening for?
Well, if there's one thing I learned at United Facts of America this year, it's that voters really care about kitchen table topics. That was one thing that's really stood through, and I think it's so true. And so they wonder about the price of gas, the price of eggs. And so I think a candidate is going to bring up record inflation under Biden. And it's true that inflation hit a record level in June 2022. But that leaves out important context, which is that wages were really increasing at that period. So I'll be curious to know if someone brings that up today.
Wouldn't bet against that one either. Gosh. Okay. Katie, all the good ones are taken. So what do you got?
All right. Well, I know a lot of the pundits are watching Ron DeSantis's boots, and something we haven't fact checked yet, but we will be watching. That's kind of a joke. So I am thinking about not a kitchen table issue, but something that our reporters have told me keeps coming up again and again. So I want to hear it. I want to hear it live on this debate stage, which is that Nikki Haley is going to say China is trying to attack us with neurostrike weapons. And you can read a fact check about that. And it's not a really encouraging fact check. That's a mostly true rating. So we'll see if she repeats that non-kitchen table topic line.
So I think, so just being honest, I don't think that one comes up because neurostrike is like,
but it comes up a lot for her. She likes talking about it, and the conversation will turn to China and how China is kicking our butts. So I think that's part of it.
well, if I was her advisor, I would say, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Aaron, to add something, and I did hear her say it at a New Hampshire town hall. She's repeated it a few times, and there were audible gasps from audience members to hear about neurostrike weapons. So could happen.
Is this like the sound things? I guess I need to read on PolitiFact.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. There's not a lot of public information about it. There is, some truth to this technology about neurostrike weapons and China and the US pursuing things like that. So I would definitely recommend reading it.
Awesome.
See? Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We're going to leave it there. I want to thank my 6 colleagues in Miami, St. Petersburg, and Washington for making some time before the debate. You have 25 minutes to kind of get rested and ready. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and following along the past 3 days of United Facts of America. We've had a ball and a blast bringing, I think, really important, meaningful conversations to you, and also getting to highlight and showcase some of the great work that we at PolitiFact, my colleagues at PolitiFact do on a daily basis. Remember to follow along tonight's debate at politifact.com and on your social media platform of choice, or watch it with us at abcnews.com. We'll have post-debate coverage up on the website almost instantaneously. We'll have a newsletter tomorrow morning, right? Yeah, of course we will. Yeah, of course. Okay. We'll have videos on our TikTok. We'll have lots of ways you can engage and learn more about the truth in the politics as they stood in Miami. So until next time, I'm Aaron Shirachman, and have a good night. Watch the debate. Enjoy.